And a good morning to you. Welcome to the show. The Back Nine Boys Golf Show is brought to you by Mizuno Golf. Reach beyond. By CPOMS Resort. Become a member at cpoms.com. By Club Car, the leader in sport, utility, and personal vehicles. By RSM, proud sponsor of the RSM Classic, giving back to our community. And by Bridgestone Golf. Get fitted for your Tour B today. On the show, we're going to talk with Paul Tesori, PGA Tour caddy with Webb Simpson, about this season, coming back from Webb's injury, and his take on the LIV Tour. Then we'll talk with former golf broadcaster Steve Melnick about his take on the Battle of the Tours and Nick Faldo's replacement in Trevor Immelman. Then we'll talk with Dustin Johnson's personal chef, who is now going out on his own, Michael Parks, to start his own hydration drink called OMG. But first up is former broadcaster Steve Melnick. Good morning, Steve, and welcome to the Back Nine Boys Golf Show.
Good morning, Rich. It's always a pleasure to join you. This is kind of a nice time of year to be talking golf.
Yes, it is. And, you know, I see you so often on the practice range at Sea Island, just working, it looks like, on your short game a little bit.
Well, it's a way to sort of keep me involved in the game. I think the problem is it's a pride factor. I don't really want to admit how bad I am, so I keep trying to practice. That's that.
Isn't that golf all year round, or golf all your life?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're fortunate to live here and have the ability to play and practice all year. We shouldn't complain.
Yeah. All right. You knew we were going to talk about this, but what is your take on this battle going on with Greg Norman and the LIV Tour and the Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour?
Well, you got to turn the clock back. Remember when Norman tried to put together his version of a playoff / World Golf Tour, and it was nixed quickly by Fincham, and
Right.
I don't think it was handled well on either side. And fast forward to his relationship with the Saudis, and he had a chance to align with them and put this war chest together to go basically buy a tour, is the way I look at it. And
Yeah.
but as a former player, Rich, I kind of understand it from a player's perspective. If they're in the middle toward end of their career, it's unlikely they'll be better. There are some who've been riddled with injury. So for them, it's a chance to maybe cash out. I hate to use the term, but I don't know any other way to put it.
Yeah.
And they've done so, and there are a lot of vulnerable players out there, and they've reached them. A personal decision is different with every different player. So I don't want to hold some up to being critical or scorn, but
Right.
there was a lot of money involved and a lot of players who just did it for the money.
And do you think eventually, Steve, that it's going to be settled in court, or do you think the PGA Tour and the LIV Tour will try, as Rory has said, try and figure out a way for it all to work together?
Well, I don't know. I admire Jay Monahan for taking the first step and become more closely aligned with the DP World Tour. They took an increased ownership position with it. They're given exemptions now from one tour to the other. So I think that relationship has never been stronger. Can they work with the LIV Tour like Rory said? Well, I just don't know, Rich.
Yeah.
I wish I could see around the corner, but right now I'd say no.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts about how Phil Mickelson has hurt himself, hurt his legacy, and has he hurt everything that he accomplished on the PGA Tour?
Well, I can't disagree with what you just said. And I'll turn the clock back with this one as well. A couple of years ago, Mickelson was approached by an NFT, non-fungible token company, and they wanted to use basically his name, image, and likeness for a big campaign. Well, if you may or may not know that the tour owns the digital rights to every player. So Phil, in this case, did not own the rights to any of his golf shots or golf swings.
Hmm.
And when he went to them, there was a stalemate. There was a lot of money involved, and I think that really was the first domino to topple. And Mickelson got ticked off, and he went through a dark period, Rich. He really did. As you know, he disappeared for a long while.
Yeah.
He was teed up to be the replacement for Faldo. I thought at CBS he was teed up to be a Ryder Cup captain, and now this, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't see them going back and changing their mind on either one of those. Do you think, and I know one of the big issues on this Live Tour is, will they get world golf ranking points? If they don't, it's pretty easy that some of the guys who have left will not be playing some of the majors, but it's also going to change if they get approved because it's only 54 holes.
Well, not only that, but the quality of the field is not nearly as strong
Right.
as, say, a 156-man field
Right.
At a tour event back in the States. So I just don't see it happening. I really don't. And that's one of the criteria that so many people overlook, because that's the basis of how you play and work
Right.
your way into all the major championships. So
Right.
it's certainly flawed from the live perspectives of view, because I don't see that the Augusta Nationals of the world and U.S. Opens of the world relenting just to let a few guys in.
Well, and especially when you have Jay Monahan on the board, DP World Tour, RNA, somebody from the Masters is also on that board to approve or disapprove their application, which would further separate these guys from playing in majors, maybe not in the near future, but definitely, I would say, within the year.
I would agree. Totally.
So do you think that the pros didn't look all the way through on the world ranking points? Did you think that was a shoe-in? Because, I mean, obviously they're taking the money. We all know they're going for the money. And now they may not have a chance to, play the majors that they would like to. What happens if they're a defending champ of a major like the Masters or the PGA? Will they be allowed in for a certain period of time, or do you think the PGA Tour can stop them from that?
Well, the tour can't do anything to the Masters. It's its own entity.
Right.
And I would imagine Fred Ridley would honor all past Masters winners to play. Now, can you earn your way into the world golf rankings to Augusta? Not, probably not. Same with the U.S. Open. If you're a past U.S. Open champion, you take the live deal, I think they'd honor that. Otherwise, you're going to have a lawsuit. I mean, this thing just fraught for a litigious ending to this whole mess here. I mean, you've got a restraint of trade possibility with the tour not letting the players go and play the live tour. So, I mean, I hate where it's headed, Rich, but
Yeah.
it's going to get ugly before it gets better.
And do you think, in your opinion, do you think that the Masters will allow some of the live players to play, even though they may not have been a past champion?
I don't see how that's going to happen. I think, as I said, Fred will honor that Masters win for those who are winners, but the rest of the guys, I would say no.
There's been a lot of press, a lot of social media. I mean, media has been just, relentless on this topics. And do you think it's hurt golf's reputation at this point for everybody to see Greg Norman saying this, Jay Monahan saying this, and the golfers? Here's something I just thought of. I don't like the way that some of the guys who went to the Live Tour have criticized their time on the PGA Tour. I really
agree
don't.
more.
I
could not agree more.
Yeah, I mean, without the PGA Tour, they wouldn't be where they are now.
Right. Yeah, to some say, well, I want to control my own schedule. Well, you can control your own schedule. If you just play better, you can play less events and make plenty of money. So
Yeah.
there were a couple of players. I know Taylor Gooch had a few comments that probably wish he could withdraw. Yeah, the tour's been good to all these guys, and they need to rethink some of their comments.
Do you think that this battle has hurt golf's reputation?
Well, I do too. And look at it in the context of the environment where this country is right now, Rich. I'm taking a big macro view of it. We've got tremendously high inflation. We've got problems with immigration. We've got problems with energy cost. And here these guys are, DeChambeau kind of handy. I got north of 125 million to go play golf eight times a year. It just doesn't resonate very well in the real world.
Yeah, and even though they're signing contracts, and Norman says that he wants to coexist with the PGA Tour, I'm not sure how he defines coexist. I just don't see it happening.
I don't either. I really don't.
All right. You were in broadcasting for quite a long time. You did a great job. You and I have talked about the current broadcasters compared to when you did it. Your thoughts on Faldo's retirement and his replacement, Trevor Immelman?
Mixed would be my answer on Trevor. I don't know him personally. I just think the networks seem to think a foreign voice is what is necessary in that seat, particularly CBS, with whom I used to work for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with being an anti-international player guy. I wonder if that's the right voice. As I said, I thought Mickelson would have been perfect. They wanted Freddie Couples, and Freddie wanted to still play. Freddie would have been great. You know, he and Nance were roommates at Houston years ago.
Right.
Everybody likes Freddie. Freddie was like an old pair of loafers. You know, you just can't keep away. He would have been perfect for that job. So it's been said that Trevor, because the former Masters winner, that had a lot of sway. But we'll see. I would prefer him to Faldo, but honestly, I think he'll do a pretty good job. I'm not a big fan of what I call a non-American voice in that role.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily an Immelman fan because, I mean, he just hasn't had, yes, he won the Masters, but he hasn't had all the success that Faldo's had, that, you know, some of the others that they've had, that you had and stuff. That, I mean, it just doesn't seem like a good choice, and it just, we'll just have to see where that one goes.
Exactly.
Well, Steve.
Be determined. How's that?
Yes, to be determined. You're right. Well, the RSM has lost some of their players because of what's going on, and many other tournaments have lost. Do you think that there's enough young players for Zach and Davis to fill for the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup in the near coming future?
It's going to put a real strain on the talent pool, if you will, from which to choose. Yeah, I mean, the whole apple cart's been upset, both on the international side and the U.S. side for the President's Cup.
Yeah.
What was going to be a pretty neat event at Quail Hollow in Charlotte will still be good, but you just won't have the depth of players from which to choose.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least. Steve, as always, thank you. Always enjoy seeing you taking your practice swings on the range, and thank you for being with us this morning.
Just don't tell anybody how ugly it is, Rich.
It's not. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Rich.
Steve Melnick, former broadcaster. Have a great weekend. Always enjoy the way he's so upfront and honest about everything. Coming up next, Chef Michael Parks, DJ's personal chef. We'll see if that's still going on. And he's starting his own hydration drink. We'll talk more about that when we come back on the Back Nine Boys Golf Show.
Brad Klein here, veteran golf writer, author of Discovering Donald Ross, and thrilled to be on Back Nine Boys Golf Show again.
And welcome back. I'm Rich Stiles. Thank you for being with us. Being a personal chef to one of the top golfers in the world is satisfying, but so is starting your own business. And that's what we're going to talk with Chef Michael Parks about. Good morning, Chef. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. And you guys?
Doing wonderful. First off, I got to ask you a question about DJ. Did you go to the wedding?
I did not. I actually had surgery 2 days before that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I missed it. But I had fun with them, though, afterwards. But, yeah.
I bet you. So are you still cooking or preparing meals for DJ at times?
Ever since the jump, it's been different because the stays have been different. Like, you know, they stay in hotels and everybody stays together. It's kind of like a frat house type deal.
Yeah.
Cool. And Portland, I just wasn't available because I had my launch going on. We did our launch on Combat Karate on ESPN and CBS Sports. We launched it at Universal Studios with them. And it's just scheduling. I'm hoping to be in New Jersey. They actually called me and say, "Hey, I got a cottage. Can you come up?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But, you know, I think I'll continue doing it no matter, you know, how successful my company becomes, just because I just like the camaraderie and they like me around. And, you know, I just like being around those guys and we have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you even know, Michael, about what he was about to do? That he was going to quit the PGA Tour and go on this live tour for an insane amount of money?
Well, I gotta, you know, when it first happened, he actually, you know, turned it down. Of course, he was like, and you know, we were all like, this was before he made the announcement, and you know, it was, you know, he really had the PGA, you know, he was really focused on the PGA, et cetera, because, you know, I asked him myself, I was like, dude, are you crazy? Because I thought it was, you know, I think it's actually good for golf, man, to be honest with you. I really do.
Okay.
I think it's getting missed. I think it's just, even you see Rory's coming around because, you know, everybody's going to have their opinions, but, you know, about where the money's coming from. But you know what, nobody knows where their money's coming from. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And it's been shown that a lot of those people that have been criticizing are making money with these people, with the Saudi government or whatever. So, you know, it's just, they should have handled it differently.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, now they're throwing all this money and all these extra tournaments, so now they got to play longer, but you're throwing more money that you could have threw more money 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Exactly.
So I can't go into much, but I was in a round of conversation that was just, you know, where, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to open up a can of worms.
Yeah. All right.
It's a lot of contradiction going on with people from the PGA and people from the PGA guys, man. It's just, it's a lot of crap, man.
Yeah. I mean, right now they seem to be in a reactive mood, and they could have, as you said, done it sooner, and it would have been a proactive move.
But they were crying broke. We don't have the money to do this.
Yeah.
All our money goes to charity. We don't have this. We don't have that. But now you pop up and with all this money, and now all these other guys that's on the tour is like, well, shit. Where was this before? I mean, so were you holding us hostage?
Yeah.
That's what these guys are thinking. I work with a lot of young players too. You know, I design a lot of guys for a lot of guys, man. And I work, you know, a lot of my chefs and et cetera, et cetera. But I'm telling you, man, you know, you can't. You have to go. I'm not saying you have to go with the new times, but you can't hold people hostage.
Yeah.
And then and that's another thing, what you just said. It wasn't proactive.
Right.
They were proactive and even just had the conversation with the guys. I mean, you automatically felt intimidated. So what did you do? You went and just try to destroy somebody's image without even hearing what these people had to offer.
Yeah.
What they were trying to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so it's going to get messier.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because these guys ain't gonna run out of money.
No.
They're gonna come around, and the things that they're gonna the goods that they're about to show what they're gonna do is really just gonna just turn people off on the PJ that keeps attacking these people. What they need to do is just shut the hell up, go play golf, and stop talking about it because you're ruining your game.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm not totally in agreement with your comment that it's good for golf, but we'll see. I mean, it's good for the golfers that went because now these are generational dollars that they're receiving. But as you and I just said, I wish the PGA Tour would have been more proactive on this. But let's talk about something else that's more proactive. I know it's closer to what you want to talk about. Tell me about OMG.
So OMG is dear to my heart. What this whole thing and planning of this product was to actually really help not just my athletes and everything like that to recover, et cetera, rehydrate on a faster level, but to actually help people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We created a hydration product that, as far as absorption into the body, it's like steroids, okay? Our product actually, because there's no sugar, very, very low carbs, we actually put a B complex in to eat the carbs for the paleo people, for the low carb people, that it actually kill the carbs before they even get into your system, right? So they eat them away.
Got it.
Well, anyway, what my product does is it's all about absorption. So every product on the market, they either use salt or a lot of sugar. Okay, those are the only way that that they can get the electrolytes to absorb. Okay, or to travel. So what we created and patent, this is a patent process that we have, is that we took let's say we split the rice, literally like a rice grain, and we found something in that rice grain as far as absorption. Okay, so what we did is we played around with it and we added it to a lot of different other things. So I have like 23 other products that are going to come out.
Wow.
What we found out is that this product actually takes nutrients, vitamins, electrolytes. It takes all this good stuff and it absorbs through your small intestines within 2 minutes. Okay, so within 2 minutes, your body is absorbing all these electrolytes. Okay, so I can tell you thousands of examples of me walking into a football, to some football guys cramping up already on the ground cramping. I swear, just walking in at the right time and giving this guy a drink, and he jumps up in 1 minute. Like, what just happened? No stretching, no nothing.
Wow.
Because all you're doing is refueling your muscles, and it happens so fast. So 2 minutes, it starts entering through your cells and organs. And then within 7 to 10 minutes, you're fully 100% hydrated. Your organs, your body, everything. You just feel great. I mean, you've tried them.
Yep.
I would love to hear your what you felt afterwards. I mean, people always say, "Oh, what am I supposed to feel?" It's not about the feeling. And if you're taking them every single day,
yep.
Well, it is about the feeling. If you're taking them twice a day, like I tell all my guys, especially if you're active, there's no downtime. There's no soreness. Your joints are lubricated.
Yep.
When you're 100% hydrated, all your cylinders are firing.
I did find that for sure, because usually when I'm driving home after playing golf on a hot day, which we've had, usually get out of the car, you're sore. I wasn't. And I think that was a big deal to me and a big eye-opening for me. But give us the website so our listeners can go to it.
Well, I like to circle back on that. We haven't launched yet.
Okay.
And once I do launch next week, I would love to come back on and do or give you a quick segment to tell everybody to come on, because I'm doing a special promotion. So the first month, I'm pretty much giving this stuff away. So you sign up, et cetera, you get your weekly supply for pretty much just for shipping. Because I really want people to try this, and people need to stop drinking all that sugar, and your body and your life is going to change 100%. And just real quick, we thought about it for the athletes and everything. And then when we start, and I'm not making no medical claims, but we are doing testing. But what I've done so far with sickle cell, with postpartum depression, when these women, when they got their lives back from their brain function and not being depressed by taking this over 3 days, blew everybody away.
Wow.
I mean, it's the cries, the hugs of, thank you for giving me my life back. I didn't even look at it to be that serious.
Wow.
But being hydrated is so important. It's just.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It makes a difference too.
All right. We will definitely have you back on because I want to talk about all this. I want to talk about the website. I want to talk about the 23 more products that you're coming up with. We can get more info on that. Chef Michael Parks, thank you so much for being with us, and thanks for coming up with this product.
And anytime you want to have a little debate on this live thing, I would love to do that on a personal note with you, because I know you said it's not good. I like to circle back around to this.
Yep.
What I mean by good for the game of golf, it's going to grow more players and more people to be able to compete at a different kind of level.
Yep. I hope so.
I just see that, man.
Yeah.
It's tough going out there and a caddy, and they don't win that much, or can't make that much money because if they come in last place, they make $10,000 in the caddy. It helps people. It's going to make PGA step up and take care of the caddies.
Yep.
The caddies on tour get treated like crap. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful. They have them eating in cart barns and bathrooms. It's disrespectful. So, it's not just about the players. It's about the whole entire atmosphere of the game.
So we will definitely talk about that some more. Michael,
all right, my man.
Pleasure. Thank you for being with us.
All right, have a good day.
All right, you too. Michael Parks, kind of excited. He's really excited and has some good opinions on what's going on with Live Golf and about his new product. We'll definitely have him back on. But we're going to have back on with PGA Tour caddy with Webb Simpson, Paul Tesori, one of our favorite guys. He'll be on with us after this break on the Back Nine Boys Golf Show.
Hi, this is Damon Green, PGA Tour caddy, and you're listening to me on the Back Nine Boys Golf Show.
And welcome back. I'm Rich Stiles. Paul Tesori and Webb Simpson have partnered together for many years, and I think is one of the best teams that's out there right now. And one of our favorite guests is Paul Tesori. Good morning, Paulie. How you doing?
Rich, always doing great, buddy. Enjoy talking to you. And I probably needed a little bit of that pop-up speech. It's been a rough year so far, so it's kind of good to remind that we have done some good things, and hopefully some better things are ahead.
Yeah, and you mentioned, that Webb was coming back from an injury. You kind of had to change his swing. I know he's kind of been up and down. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this season so far?
Yeah, the season's been a big old fat. I won't give it a 1. We'll go to a 2.
Oh, gee. Okay.
Yeah, it's been. We've never been in this position together. When I first started working for Webb back in 2011, it was 213th in the world, and then when I went to work for him, just great timing, good team that we created. We haven't had a big struggle. We had a little struggle there during the putting ban where we fell down, but never to the area that we're battling right now just to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We haven't been in that position. Physically, he's back. Physically, he's strong.
Okay.
We've got the golf swing where we want it, and now the second part, and that's the mind, needs to kind of come back and get strong again. I think both of us are a little too excited to play great golf, and I think we can get a little too frustrated. At John Deere, it was a tournament I thought he was going to have a great chance to win. He made 12 birdies in 2 days and missed the cut. And for anybody that's followed any part of Webb Simpson's career, that would shock him to no end.
Yeah.
Usually if he's made 12 birdies in 2 days, we're going to be in the top 5 on the leaderboard. So
yeah.
Physically he's there. Mentally is the next step.
And so what's the rest of what's left of the season look like for you two?
Webb keeps hurting my own golf career adding these tournaments. So I made fun of him for that the other day. I'm like, Weber, you keep adding these tournaments, man. My golf game's going downhill. But we're going to play, obviously, the Open Championship next week. Really excited to go back to St. Andrews. Been fortunate to caddy there in competition almost 30 times now. And
wow.
I think it'll be my 4th British Open there. So it's always an exciting place to go back to. I cherish the golf course, love the golf course, just everything about it. It's a great golf course for Webb to have a chance to win the tournament. And it sounds so, I just think people would say maybe too optimistic to think with the year that we've had. I don't think we've had a top 10 in 2022. To think that we could go over there and win the golf tournament. But I really believe he'll have a chance to win the tournament. We've worked on some mistakes we've been making mentally, and physically he's strong, like I said, and ready to go. I think it's a great place to play some good golf. And then we've added Detroit, the Rocket Mortgage. We'll play that, and hopefully it's going to be the start of 5 in a row. We want to play all 3 playoff events, so we'll play Detroit, Greensboro, and like I said, the hope is to play all 3 playoff events. But we kind of need to get it in gear.
Yeah, and how will the game change for you and Weber going over to St. Andrews? I know it's a completely different atmosphere. It's your game plan has got to change. How will it change when you guys go over next week?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, it fits what we like to do, which is, we kind of call it, conservatively aggressive. And I know those are 2 words that don't go together, but we try to pick kind of conservative targets off the tee, and into the greens there. We were fortunate enough the last go around, which would have been, my goodness, was it 2015? I'm probably going to get my years mixed up, but when we were at the old course last, we only hit it in 1 fairway bunker in 4 days. Now, in that, you need a little bit of luck. And we know the famous story when Tiger completed the Grand Slam that he didn't hit it in a single fairway bunker all week. But, you need a little bit of luck in that, too. There are some bunkers you have to take on, and you might need them to just scoop by or just bounce over or stay just short of. But for the most part, you can have a week, as long as the winds, aren't too strong, where you can kind of dictate how aggressive or non-aggressive you want to be. And so it fits Webb's game. The greens are huge. Again, getting the putter in his hand. He's always typically putted well there. And so I don't think we'll change a whole lot. We'll work a little bit on some flighted shots, keeping the ball down. Instead of hitting a smash 7, we might hit some little chippy 5 irons into some greens. So we'll work on those things, but the rest of it will be pretty similar.
And you guys will go over how many times will you practice as far as practice rounds play before the Open starts on Thursday?
Yeah, we'll just play 2 practice rounds. Webb, just by nature, is not the most flexible guy. He works hard on it, but we used to fly over, so we'll leave on Sunday tomorrow. We'll pop over, and we used to try to go play 18, but his body was never in great shape. He wouldn't play well. Maybe confidence gets down. So we actually said we take a lob wedge and a putter, and we walk all 18 holes. Talk about it, see what we want to do, just kind of get ourselves familiar with what's going on, go over our missed spots, that kind of stuff. It's just a good little kind of first introduction, get your legs out under you, and then we'll get to work on Tuesday.
All right. Any new equipment going over there? Or I know you and Webb don't like to change equipment, so just kind of go with what you got.
Well, yes, we have tried some new things this year. I think that's the thing they always tell you not to do when things aren't going well.
Right,
but
exactly.
We tried some new things, and the equipment was great. It just didn't quite fit what Webb wanted to do. So we actually went back. Like we went to his old set of irons that he just started remaking again. Titleist is going to sell them, so they're going to sell them kind of in a small bunch. But we went back to his old irons that he's been playing since he was 15. We just went back to those 3 weeks ago. We got Weber in the new driver. He's loving that. But everything else is pretty much the same. But it's been really nice just to kind of go back to what he knows so well with the irons.
All right, let's talk about what is coming up in September. President's Cup, Webb's course in Charlotte. I know at one time y'all were trying to make the team. What are you trying to do now, and have you had some conversations with Davis?
Yeah, so obviously the only way we make the team most likely is to win at least once, probably twice, coming down the stretch, or get on a heater and have 6 straight top 10, something like that.
Right.
He's talked to Davis, obviously offered Davis up any, type of help that he can give him. So if that's as an assistant, he would love to do it. If not, that'll be a tough week for him. If we don't make the team as a player, and for some reason Davis doesn't have him as an assistant, I would think that week he has to get out of Dodge, because I don't think you would want to sit on your back patio and listen to the roars and watch the teams go by. Now, you'll be rooting, obviously, for your team.
Oh, yeah.
It'll sting. Him and I have had this one circled for a long time.
Yeah. And
but
also,
it would sting not to be a part of it.
Yeah, I would imagine. And the team, based on all this other stuff going on, is really going to look a lot different than it was a couple of years ago, even more different from the recent Ryder Cup team.
Yeah, it's so true. It's what a weird time we're in right now, obviously, with, kind of the rise of the Live Golf League and everything going on with the tour, trying to protect themselves. There's a lot. And so, yeah, there's going to be a completely different looking team on both sides. You look at the Live Tour, and the international team is littered with their players, and, the American team as well. So it's going to be a different look. I think the vibe will be the same. I think the fans will be the same.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a different team. I think the American team will still be incredibly strong. It's just going to allow some maybe younger guys to jump into the mix when you got guys like Koepka and DJ, with them being gone. It's going to open up a couple of spots for maybe some younger guys. But, yeah, it's a weird time. The President's Cup's going to be incredible. Charlotte, that time of the year, couldn't be better weather. And so, obviously, I still hope that I'm looking forward to it being there as a player and a caddy. If not, we'll do our best between now and then to make it.
Yeah, it's really going to be a cool scene. So are you guys looking at next year? Not saying you're throwing away this year, but you're saying on a scale of 1 to 10, you're at a 2. You want to improve that, obviously. But when will you guys talk about next year, about a good schedule with no injuries, hopefully?
Yeah, what a great question. We actually just put ourselves on probation. We were talking about next year a lot. We found ourselves like, hey, let's just kind of plan this a little bit differently. We know some changes are coming up next year to a little bit more just kind of with, these new invitationals that are going to be obviously quite a lot of money, going to be smaller fields, and maybe even a couple of 3 huge events overseas for a lot of money. It's going to be top 70. And that's going to be off the FedEx Cup. And so I think as we started to look towards next year and we started thinking about maybe, hey, let's maybe add a tournament, but kind of maybe take a little more time off, not show up till Tuesdays or even Wednesday mornings. We had to stop ourselves because we still have a lot of work to do this year. We have 3 more tournaments before the playoffs start. I think we're 110th in the FedEx Cup right now. We know that there's one monster week or 3 really solid weeks. We can get in the top 70 and make the first 2, and then anything can happen trying to get to Atlanta. So we told ourselves no more talk about next year, and we'll deal with that once the year comes to a close.
Yeah, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves. And they've added these tournaments, and it really kind of plays with your mind, plays with your schedule, because you're right. There are no cuts. There's more money. Do you think, Paul, that the PGA Tour has been reactive with what's going on with the LIV Tour with adding these events? Couldn't they have done that like last year or the year before?
So we knew these events were coming before LIV.
Okay.
Like really kind of stepped up. They just didn't know what it was going to look like. The World Golf Championship events were already kind of being phased out. They wanted to get kind of individual title sponsors for those. So we knew those things were going to change. But yes, the scheduling, the kind of eliminating the wraparound schedule, those things, I think that's all been pushed from LIV. The increase in purses at your invitationals, at your, the Players Championship, those things, all reactionary to the LIV Tour. And for us, almost all of it is good. It's going to be really good for the PGA Tour product.
Yeah.
The hard thing for anybody to predict is, how far are the Saudis and the LIV Golf League, how far are they going to go with their tour? How far are they going to go financially?
Right.
Or, if they're wanting to recoup a profit, they're obviously not going about it the right way. But if they just want to make a massive splash and kind of turn the world upside down with golf, they're doing it well. And so it really depends on what their main goal is. I have inside, knowledge that, quite a bit, there's going to be a lot more information, a lot more news coming out about guys that are going. And it's just going to strengthen their product. It is going to weaken the PGA Tour's product, but we've shown throughout time that the PGA Tour, they're successful. The big guys are staying, the Rorys, the Spieths, the JTs, those guys are staying. And, Scotty Scheffler, Sam Burns, these guys, as long as they are all still a member of our tour, and as long as the tour really sits down and tries to listen strongly to the players, which it seems like they're doing now, I think the tour will be just fine.
Yeah. Well, Paulie, we want to be just fine. We're going to take this last break, and we'll be back with you with Paul Tesori right after this on the Back Nine Boys Golf Show.
Hi, I'm Ed Ibargwin, PGA Master Professional at Duke University Golf Club, and you are listening to the Back Nine Boys Golf with Rich Stiles.
And welcome back. We're on the phone with one of our favorite people, Paul Tesori. Caddy is with Webb Simpson. Paulie, before the break, you said that you know some things that may be coming up. I was reading the other day that now Spieth's name has come up who might be going. I mean, are you able to talk about how many more may be going, or is that still some private information?
No, yeah, I mean, I know quite a few more that are going. I would be incredibly shocked at Jordan Spieth
I
win.
would too.
It would kind of go against everything. Here's the deal: there were strong rumors that Webb Simpson was going. There were strong rumors that Will Zalatoris was going. When JT withdrew from Hartford, there were strong rumors he was going. And guys, nowadays with social media, you just can't trust any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You really can't. The guys that are going won't surprise anybody that much. They've all been kind of leaky. I'm not going to share that information, but you know, I've had talks with a lot of players and a lot of caddies, and I think people that know me well probably know which side I stand on. I'm old school. I'm pro PGA Tour. I'm pro charity, pro giving back. Kind of anti quite a few things that the people that run the Live Tour are about.
Yep.
I want guys to stay. I want the tour product to be better than it's ever been. You know, I'm still friends with quite a few of the people that have gone to the Live Tour. I've got a couple of caddies who are dear friends of mine. To be honest with you, there's a part of me that's jealous. I mean, they're paying for all their expenses. My expenses each year are around $90,000 just to go to work, and the Live Tour's paying for all of their expenses. So there's really great things, and I know why they went. But old school PGA Tour, you grow up wanting to win those golf tournaments. I think what Pearson Coody did not going to the Live Tour, and if anybody wants to know more about that, just look it up. Pearson Coody. He's a twin, played on Texas's national championship team this year. The kid turned down a lot of money to go play and guaranteed money. And for him, he couldn't be suspended. He wasn't a member of the PGA Tour. So like nothing was really going to change for him except he was about to be pretty wealthy.
Yeah.
But he said no. He goes, I don't want to miss any time trying to get my tour card. That's what I grew up doing or wanting to do. And he won his third start on the Korn Ferry Tour. So I just love seeing that. And I love stories like that because that's what we all grew up wanting to do was to win on the PGA Tour.
Paulie, do you think it's a kick to, you know, Palmer and Hogan and, you know, all these, you know, legends in the PGA Tour for these guys to leave and then say they still want to play in the majors?
You know, it's interesting. I used that argument early on, but then I was quickly reminded that it was Palmer and Nicklaus that broke away from the PGA of America and started the PGA Tour. So they were the two that disrupted the whole thing because they thought they should be playing for more money. They thought that they should have more control over the things that were done. And so that argument I had to get rid of kind of quickly.
Yeah.
Because somebody a little smarter than me that had done their research said, hey, just it's okay to die on a hill. Just don't die on that one. Like you got to find one. I'm like, okay, yep, that makes sense. Yeah, it's one of those things. We all want to play for more money. People are like, well, you should play for the love of the game. Yeah. But if you play for the love of the game, you're like me and you who play once a week. But when you're working out in the gym and you're practicing till your hands are sore and, you know, you're flying all throughout the world and you're leaving your family, yeah, it's about money. You do that because you're making a great living. So the poll is good. The tour's reacted great. And I'm just hopeful that it'll continue to go that way.
Yeah. And we've got about another little over a minute. Do you think, though, that they really want the Live Tour really wants Greg Norman to coexist with the PGA Tour? Personally, I don't see how it's going to be because he keeps bad-mouthing the PGA Tour.
Yeah, so it's I call it lip service. I think we all know what that means. Yeah, he has said certain things all along, but yet behind the scenes has been operating in a very secretive kind of dark way. So, yeah, I've heard him say that. I don't think it's true. I do believe this. If it continues to go the way it's going, you're going to have both tours not with a tremendous amount of success at the moment. At some point, they may have to talk, and I have no idea what that looks like. I can't imagine the tour coming to any full agreement with the Live Tour, obviously being Saudi-backed. Just what the tour stands for with their charitable interests and everything else. I just don't know how that's going to coexist. So if that happens, I think it would come to the point where both are failing and that they would both need each other.
Yeah, and they'd have to figure out some way to do it. Do you think it'll end up in court to be settled, or do you think they can settle it out of court? Got about 30 seconds.
I think individually there's going to be quite a few court proceedings individually. I don't think league versus league that you would probably see that as much. It would be so expensive and so time consuming that I don't know if you would end up seeing that.
Yeah, and at that point, the only people going to make a lot of money are going to be the lawyers.
Exactly. Yep, you couldn't have said that better.
Yeah. Paulie, always a pleasure. I love talking to you, and thanks for fitting us in your schedule on a week off, and good luck next week at the Open.
Rich, anytime. And once we get one of these wins in these next 3 tournaments, we'll talk again.
That would be our pleasure, and we will look forward to it. Paul Tesori, good friend, great caddy. And we want to thank you for being a good friend and listening to us every Saturday and Sunday right here on ESPNCoastal.com and theback9boys.com. Every Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 9, live on ESPN.com.
Back Nine Boys Golf Show with Rich Stiles. Go to back9boys.com for all things golf whenever you want it. We'll be back next week with an all-new Back Nine Boys at back9boys.com.